legend lives on from the Chippewa on down at the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
Hey guys, it's Austin
and Matt.
We're talking about the Edmund Fitzgerald today, which sunk on November 10th, 1975 by a November witch. A November witch is where the cold air comes from the north and the warm air comes from the south, which causes deadly waves and mass destruction.
So basically, they went out to get one last load in November. They knew that there were storms in November, but the storm came without warning. And the Edmund Fitzgerald was a 728-foot long ship and launched on June 7th, 1958, with the ship loaded with 26,000 tons of iron ore, adding to the already 13,000 tons the ship weighed, with 29 crew members aboard, each and every one going down with the ship. Some of the questions that we have is, how did the water even get in the boat?
I think it's because they got too close to shore and they bottomed out, which put a big hole in the hull and they couldn't pump it out fast enough.
Yeah, so basically the boat in the Anderson, which was the boat following them, the captain told them to make sure he had his pumps on, but the problem was when they pumped out the water was coming in just as fast as they were pumping it out. So they couldn't get the water out, and also they think that it may have been a stress fracture, but since they were close to the shore, because they were sailing blind because their radars were knocked out by the wind, they didn't know where they were going, so they were too close to the shore, and the jagged rocks hit the bottom of the boat and cut it open. Another question that we're going to talk about is, how did it even sink?
I thought it sank because they couldn't pump water through the hulls fast enough and they didn't seal the hatches well. And two 20-feet rays hit it from behind, and that's what it went disappearing. So there could have been many different theories on what happened when it sank. So that's what I thought would happen.
So also one of the Coast Guards reported it as the hatch, like it was human error, and that the hatches weren't sealed completely, which the people on the Anderson said that that's impossible, and people from other boats said that that's impossible because not that much water could ever even get in just from the hatches being open. So there obviously had to be another problem, which was the jagged rocks. That's why we thought about that, or the stress fracture. And then so it was already low in the water, and when the two huge waves hit it from behind, the boat just dug in and didn't have enough air in it to float back up. Another question we have is, why didn't they retrieve the bodies from the ship?
Well, one of the reasons was because the lady, her husband was on that ship, so she wanted it to be a burial site for them so they could respect it. But one guy said if he had the chance to go get his dad, he would.
So that's what we're kind of like confused about, is the guy said that no matter what, he would try his best to get his dad out of there, but I don't understand why they didn't just go into the boat and get the bodies out. Some of the things that we were thinking about is, like, maybe they had ropes attached to the people that were going down and looking at the ship, so they couldn't go in the ship, or else they'd obviously get tangled up or something, because, like, if something could go down, then maybe they'd pull them up from the rope. Or they just wanted to respect it, and the majority rule, and most of them just wanted to respect it, so they didn't get the bodies out. So now you can't go down there anymore to go look at the ship or anything, because now it's just ruled as a burial site.
Like Matthew said, like they were driving blindly because of the storm hit the radar, which lost signal, and the watchtowers went out of power. So that's why he said mostly they were driving blind, because it was hard for them to see because of all the snow, and they had no connection with where they're going and where they're at. The storm that the Edmund Fitzgerald was a monster. It started with a nice clear day, then out of nowhere there was a November witch, like we talked about. There was 35 feet waves, snow, hail, and rain, just a monster storm, which was the cause of 29 deaths in the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, so basically, once the Anderson got back, he knew that they were gone and he couldn't find them anywhere. So they had search parties go out, and then the Coast Guard even asked the Anderson to go back out there and another boat to go back out there and look for them, which they did. And they found the boat 4 days later after the incident. So they ended up finding the boat later, and then that's how like they started getting theories on why it sank. And like they did find the boats that you go on after it, like if there's a disaster and they get on a different, like one of those small boats, they found one of those on shore, and then so once they went back down there and they didn't pick up any bodies, they did end up getting the bell from there, and then they put on an artificial bell back onto the ship that had their names engraved onto it. But now you can go and see the bell at museums and stuff like that.
This podcast is in honor of approximately 30,000 lives that were lost due to shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. The Edmund went down 40 years ago. All hands were lost. Each crew member had a family and friends just like us, all lost in a storm. Ernest McSorley, the captain, did not even have time to say Mayday.
May we please have a moment of silence for all the crews that went down in the shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. Thank you. That is it for our podcast.
The wind and the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait, when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain. force of a hurricane.